Hey Henrik, you listening? I've got a couple questions. Also, dealers, should you partner with Fisker? I'll answer those questions today, and much more. But first, last week, Henrik Fisker attended the NADA conference to try to generate interest in a dealership partnership model for Fisker. And today I'll walk you through what was said and how it affects you, as well as covering Fisker's upcoming software updates and your comments. Definitely stay tuned for that, you don't want to miss it. But let's get to the presentation. Henrik Fisker did a presentation and a Q&A at the conference, and his pitch to those in attendance was a win-win-win. Let's go through those 3 wins. But before we dive in, I just want to thank all of the folks that have signed up as YouTube members and Patreon supporters. I cannot thank you enough for your support. The links are below, and every piece of encouragement helps. Now let's get back to the dealerships. No haggle pricing. This is hugely good news for the consumer if Fisker does get dealership partnerships. The biggest problem with the dealership model is the fact that you don't know what the last person before you or the next person will pay. But with no haggle pricing, that problem is solved. The dealer wins because it's not like Subway restaurants where there may be one across the street from another one, or maybe right down the street. Part of the partnership agreement has Fisker geofencing dealership locations, so there's only one in each area. The win for Fisker here is very obvious, but it wasn't really communicated at the NADA conference. And it's the fact that Fisker gets to outsource another piece of its manufacturing and delivery process, as well as get a whole bunch of Fisker Oceans off the books right away. That's why the thumbnail says salvation. This is the last resort. Fisker admitted that right now they simply can't reach a lot of customers, especially in North America. The interest market is just no good for Fisker to try to build buildings and get contractors, and these brick and mortar locations already exist if Fisker can partner with them. And that's just one part of the razor. When you outsource basically everything but your IP, the margins become very thin very quickly. So this dealership partnership with a whole bunch of different dealers is not necessarily a lock, because Fisker can't really come forward with a whole lot of capital for the dealerships either. There is already one partner though. So all of this sounds like good news for the customer. They can go to somebody and get some customer service. But there was one thing that really wasn't said. Will dealerships service the vehicle? Based on this presentation, the answer is unclear. But if you do a little digging, those answers are available. Bill, friend of the channel, sent me this document that shows kind of what Fisker's been up to and plans to do in the future. Let's go through the highlights. Mills Auto Group that I just mentioned will provide 3 dealerships for Fisker this month. Fisker has a couple slides on details regarding the dealership partnership, eliminating barriers to entry, increasing the speed to market, and building Fisker's footprint overall. This slide features a lot of the detail. Dealers will be required to make a minimum investment, market areas are large like we mentioned before, no haggle pricing, and training, which means sales and service programs for early dealer partners for a period of time. It's kind of a use it or lose it for the first group of dealers that want to get involved. There'll be a dealer council. It says dealers can share service area back of house and administrative functions, likely meaning not all dealerships will have full Fisker service capability. And of course, you got to make your money as a dealership, so there's a certified pre-owned program. This slide is interesting as it shows customer nurturing, digital-first advertising, product stories, timely communication to keep me informed, and if you're curious, my Fisker Ocean Sport is at sea, estimated arrival February 29th. How-to videos make them ready, real human interaction, and connecting digital and physical. And since I'm on the site, I found this too. There's a new rewards program for Fisker reservation holders. You can use my referral link down in the description. Currently, I can get a thermos, a beanie, TuneIn Radio subscription for 1 year, a hoodie, which I already have from the previous referral program, a puffer jacket, which may be an option I'll take. Make sure you subscribe so you can check out what the jacket's like. And $300 worth of ChargePoint cards. All the Ocean One benefits are also listed, so for those looking for some kind of communication that those benefits are available, they are communicated on the website if you go to rewards after you've signed in. The reason why I can't claim that ChargePoint credit is because it looks like it's coming soon for Fisker Ocean One owners. However, the tire replacement and the charging are the only two that aren't active if you are a Fisker Ocean One owner. You can share your code, share with friends, or share the newsletter to earn points. But we all know why we're here. Fisker has laid out a timeline for its over-the-air updates, and it looks aggressive. The OTA accept software button, trip computer, screen cleaning mode, navigation enhancements, Bluetooth improvements, California mode self-calibration, release notes in the user interface, ADAS settings changes, and miscellaneous bug fixes and performance improvements is that 1.11 part 2. You can watch that video in the description. Thanks to Brian for providing the legwork there. Make sure you check out his channel as well. I got a link right here. And now for the excitement. improvement. This month, OS 2 is being released. That's hill hold, optimized energy management, probably your 3 to 5% phantom drain, solar sky visualization, not super excited about that, but cool, 45-55 torque split, so some powertrain improvements, trailer sway mitigation, phase 1 of driver profiles, here's another big one, over-the-air update while charger is plugged in, base tuning optimization, and climate and defrost optimization. Looks like those are rolling out now, and as exciting as 2.0 is, with a lot of improvements that are really necessary, I'm more excited about OS 3 because it does new exterior sounds, seat memory with easy entry, and the NFC card is coming. I don't know how many times real owners have told me 90% of their problems are with the key fob, and if that NFC key card comes around soon, that's going to solve a whole lot of problems, as well as create a lot of opportunities for different NFC card form factors. And another huge bonus about OS 3 is Alexa with voice assistant is coming as well. At this point, April is the scheduled release time for OS 4, with hill descent control, one-pedal driving, torque vectoring. They're going to activate the dongle and do vehicle to load as well, pet mode and cabin preconditioning, workshop mode, snow and ice drive modes, as well as the entire ADAS suite. That's just sweet. But I wouldn't be too optimistic about April for OS 4.0. I can see OS 3 coming out in March or April, but unless Fisker has completely restructured its software team, or perhaps let them stay in and fix the software, which they weren't doing earlier, I have evidence of that in my interface video, which you can also watch in the description, I wouldn't put my money on April for OS 4.0. But what it does do is give a timeline on when each of the software promises that Fisker made initially will come to fruition. Because by the time the items in OS 4.0 become available, we're pretty much at feature completion. I will be 100% honest. I was not going to take delivery of my Fisker Ocean until I knew when those features were coming, and this has reinvigorated my enthusiasm for not only my vehicle, but for Fisker as a company. So we answered the two questions from earlier that I had for Henrik, but now let's get to the dealers. Should you partner with Fisker? I think that it gives you a chance to sell a vehicle that you probably don't have access to in your current lineup, attracting a new and diverse customer base, but the biggest advantage here for dealers is that you get to train technicians who know how to service EVs for you to have in-house. And I think that's an excellent future-proofing strategy for any dealership looking to make sure they have clout in the electric vehicle market. Fisker has enough cash to get through 2024 pretty much no matter what, and with the help of dealerships, the metaphorical light at the end of the tunnel, which really I'm referring to the survival of Fisker in the near term, is starting to look pretty bright. Let me know your thoughts about this down below. And speaking of comments, let's get to some of yours. I drive my Ocean routinely from Seattle to Portland, and I purposely drive it like a 90-year-old in a white Buick going for an early bird dinner. I like your style. I also drive my Model Y like this. My drive mode is Earth, maximum regen, HVAC off except for occasional defrosting a windshield. I use heated seats. Cruise control right at the limit, which is 60 for about 1/3 of the drive, 70 for another half, and the rest on local roads. In my 150 miles, I usually chew up between 240 to 275 of the estimated 325 I start with at 90%. It's got to do better, much better than this. I should have less anxiety about range and the ability to drive it at the true flow of traffic speeds rather than a right lane octogenarian. By the way, octogenarian would be the drive setting for me when I drive. So I totally understand your frustration. It sounds to me like you're doing everything you can, and the best we can hope is that these software updates will optimize highway efficiency. If you guys have any efficiency data, please feel free to help my commenter with your experience down in the comments below. Maybe it's worth it to mention Fisker's used car market in your next video. Ocean 1's under 1,000 miles for $10,000 discount. Let's see if we can find one. I was able to find two Fisker Ocean 1s, one for $58,751 and one for $60,502. One with 1,000 miles and one that's basically brand new. This is where Fisker really hurt its customers. All it takes is one really bad experience to ruin everything else about a car, especially if it's a passenger. The Ocean 1 could have been an extremely high resale if they would have finished the software before they delivered the vehicles. They never would have had to reduce the price on the Extreme, and even though it's great for Ocean 1 owners, they never would have had to add all those extra benefits, because those were added at the same time they dropped the price of the Extreme from $68,000 to $61,000. But the other side of the coin is that no one actually paid $68,999 for a Fisker Ocean 1, or at least they shouldn't have in the United States. There was a $7,500 tax credit eligibility on the the 2022 taxes for every single one of these models. Because the Ocean One reservations sold out in July of 2022, so every initial reservation for an Ocean One qualified for a federal tax credit, unless the person buying it didn't have any tax liability. So these Ocean Ones are really for sale for what the people that purchased them for. Also something to consider. Great feedback. Thanks for your comment. In Canada, the all-wheel drive Ocean is 75 to 77,000 Canadian, while a Model Y all-wheel drive is 65,000. This and no dealers is the big problem, and then the lurking NACS issue. Everybody has committed to NACS in the future. When I do talk price about the Ocean, I talk price about the United States, because pricing is so complex in every country. I don't know about your tax credits. I don't know about insurance. I don't know about other incentives. Other than that, I 1000% agree. The stock won't get delisted in 2024. I did have a question about a worst case scenario. If they get delisted, they'll still exist. If they go bankrupt, that's when everything needs to be addressed as to who owns what and what happens to the cars. And that depends on who buys the company. I had an e-scooter from a company that went bankrupt. Initially, all of the parts disappeared, but eventually they came back because they realized there was a profit. Regardless, DIY Solutions, the technicians that used to work there, between that and the community, people will figure out how to fix things. That's when it becomes a true enthusiast vehicle. Also, regarding the delisting, I went through a scenario in which a company was being delisted to use it as an example of what might happen, and that company was actually listed on the NASDAQ, where Fisker is listed on the New York Stock Exchange. There are differences, but the fundamentals I covered are basically the same. For example, your share price has to be over $4 initially to be listed on the New York Stock Exchange. The market cap requirement is $15 million. And it's $50 million for NASDAQ, at least in one of the scenarios. So yes, each exchange has its own rules, but $1 is pretty much where all of them draw the line. And that 6-month period, followed by another 6-month period if they do a reverse stock split, is also shared across many platforms. I hope that helps. And to finish that previous comment, I am definitely curious about NACS, because this week was a huge week for that, in the fact that Ford has announced they are shipping an adapter to every one of their Lightning and Mach-E customers for free soon. We don't know who makes it, but this is one that does exist. And I had a couple other questions about charging that fit right along with this. Electron adapter that goes from Tesla to J1772 cannot be connected to a supercharger because the Electron adapter is for AC charging, and that supercharger only offers DC output, which are the lower two pins that are missing from that J1772 adapter. You can't put an orange in the blender and come out with apple juice, for lack of a better analogy. Also, we had a question to clarify the different EV chargers and how the NACS seems to be becoming the American standard, and what non-Tesla owners can do about it would be helpful. So let's break it down. There's AC charging at home, and it looks like this if you're using any kind of plug. There's the standard 120 volt plug, which Fisker now offers for sale. The link will be right here. Then there's the 240 volt options, which the standard today is the NEMA 1450. That's the fastest available. There's a 1430 plug and a 1030 plug. Those are the three most common you would find in your house, but there's also all of these. However, no matter what, this is what the plug looks like, and this is the inlet you would plug it in on your car. These two pins down here would be blank. There's also another option for charging at home. You can hardwire a 240 volt charger directly into your box. It would still use the same plug and the same part of your car's inlet. And that's AC home charging for non-Teslas. Tesla can use all of this stuff. All you need is this adapter. Tesla has two basic ways to charge at home, and Tesla has two basic pieces of hardware: a mobile connector, which can connect to every single one of these outlets with the right adapter, all of which fit natively into the mobile connector, or there's the Tesla wall connector, which now offers a version for Tesla only or Tesla and non-Tesla. And that's AC charging at home. On to non-Tesla DC charging. When you pull up to a DC charger, some network will service it. These are the three main ones. There's actually all these too. Next, you'll have to connect to it, which will require you to use either an app, the point of sale terminal, which can do cards, NFC, Apple Pay, and more, depending on the brand and the type of terminal. Also, some non-Tesla brands offer the ability to just plug and charge. And the name says it all. You lift up the cable, plug it into your inlet, and the car does the rest. Your billing is all predetermined, but that's going to depend on what car you have and what network you're at. All Tesla fast charging is plug and charge. Link a credit card through your phone natively and you're done. For hardware, you're going to use that entire part of your inlet on your car with the CCS1 combo, and it looks like this. Tesla can use all of these chargers with this adapter, and they work exactly the same for them as they do for you. If you want to use a Tesla AC charger, you just got to grab an adapter. They make them now, and they definitely work. Plug the Tesla plug into the adapter and plug the adapter into your car. If you want a fast charge on the Tesla supercharger network, once Tesla makes that available to your OEM, which none have access yet, but Ford will be first and the rest are whenever they said 2025 for Fisker, then you'll need to grab that adapter, plug the supercharger connector into your adapter, and plug your adapter into the CCS inlet on your car. I hope this helps. This one is fun. Have you disclosed your Fisker holdings? This video sounds like an effort to pump the stock. I find this hilarious because the previous video I was accused of the exact opposite, being a short seller. I also shared my holdings 2 videos ago. Here's that clip. It's clear which stock you own, but you don't post your holdings. I'm happy to post my holdings. Here they are. I have no mutual funds, no bonds, no IRA, no 401k, no Robinhood, no E-Trade, no investment accounts. Just a guy on the internet with a couple EVs and a mortgage. Either way, your accusation is a badge of honor. Thanks for your feedback. And those are some of your comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. I compared the Fisker Ocean directly to the Model Y. Tons of information there. Check it out here. I drove the Ocean and gave all my impressions of an extremely well-built, excellent vehicle overall. Those impressions and the experience is right there. Subscribe for more. We'll see you on the next one.
Hey! Smash the like button.
Thank you.